Southern Spain to northern France. Draw a straight line and one thing stands majestically in the way: the Pyrenees. But this beautiful mountainous border between Spain and France shouldn't be considered a barrier, rather a land of driving opportunity. And if you head for the very centre, then you'll find a tortuously twisting piece of tarmac that is something close to perfection. Yet, I'm willing to bet that most of you have never even heard of it. This is the Port de la Bonne Agua.
This road actually reminds me of the Carfection highway in Romania, that amazing road that somebody once said was the best in the world. I can't believe that it's not better known, really. Ironically, if you type Pyrenees into Google, then the pin that it drops is basically here. So why people haven't discovered it, I don't know.
Despite being in Spain, this sinuous pass actually lies on the northern side of the Pyrenees, in the Aran Valley. It climbs up to Spain's most popular ski resort, Baqueira Beret, although chances are you've never heard of that either. I certainly hadn't. The western side of the pass is narrow in places, but has a wonderful flow to it between the tight tree-lined switchbacks. The eastern side, however, is the one that will take your breath away. It carves its way up the slopes with almost every conceivable radius of corner to test you and enchant you. It is just magical.
Of course, what makes this better than the Carfection highway is A, the lack of traffic, and B, the fact that the road surface is far, far better. You should definitely put this on your to-do list for 2018. And what about the 718 Cayman GTS? Well, I love the way it looks. All those extra black bits just make it look so much meaner. It looks really good in racing yellow as well. The GTS formula hasn't changed. It's like a sort of greatest hit from the spec sheets, really. First gear for the hairpins. So much fun. Ride height is on the sport suspension, so it's lower by 10mm. You've also got more power and torque, so another 15 brake horsepower.
Curiously, there are slightly different torque figures for the two gearbox variants in the Cayman GTS, with the PDK getting 7 pounds-foot more than the manual, taking it to 317 pounds-foot in total.
But I will stick with the manual, thank you very much, because it is just wonderful. In many ways, the 718 Cayman has been the perfect partner for this amazing piece of road, because it is very cold here today and the surface is treacherous in places, so you want a car that you can trust, really, that feels faithful, that you can really enjoy. The steering on it is just wonderful. The fact that it's electric assisted just doesn't seem to matter at all. It's certainly of benefit the fact that you get a mechanical limited slip diff that's standard on the GTS. There is one problem with this car though. You've probably guessed it. It's the engine. The 2.5 litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. Even if the flat six hadn't gone before it, I think we would still regret that this hadn't got a better soundtrack. The power, nothing to complain about there. You've got plenty to exercise the chassis with. But when you're up in the mountains like this, you want a soundtrack that matches the scenery. And I'm afraid this car just doesn't have one. Strange enough, when you start it up, you get a sound that's very similar to the old 6-cylinder. It's sort of bassy and sort of slightly breathy over the top. Then at small throttle openings at low revs, it does sound very much like, well, a Subaru Impreza, as you would expect, given that it's a turbocharged Boxer 4. But beyond that, I'm afraid it just sounds a bit harsh and gruff, and gravelly, and not very inspiring, which is a real shame. The view just keeps getting better and better. What a bit of road.
The Cayman in 718 guise is still a wonderful car with a tremendous chassis and the best manual gearbox in the business. But whereas it used to be the default choice, unless you had an allergy to cars produced in Stuttgart, Now the engine has meant it's left the door ajar for things like the Audi TTRS with its sonorous 5-cylinder and the new Alpine A110. But whatever car you have at your disposal, make sure you add the Port de la Bonagua to your list of dream driving destinations. You won't regret it.